Man, this the lighting setup in here, and just kind of the angle of this whole thing, and the weird wide angle lens distortion and shit that's around me. It's making this video look real spooky. Uh, but too lazy to fix it. You know what I mean? I am here, however, to talk about The Nice Guys. I really enjoyed this fucking movie a whole lot. I saw it like 2 days ago. But, like, of course I've been doing my work thing and, like, sleeping a lot and, like, doing, like, stupid shit, playing Rust and stuff. Oh my god, there goes my phone. Like, right in the middle of this. You know, I've been playing a lot of video games and shit, just chilling out. I really, really gotta get back into this. But, yeah, man, Nice Guys is awesome. It's, written and I think directed by Shane Black, right? For people who don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know, because it's awesome. Shane Black was like, his filmography's pretty small, right? But like his credits like kind of started out in like the late '80s, early '90s and shit. And he made like a lot of fucking sweet movies. He wrote a lot of awesome movies, right? Fucking wrote Monster Squad, wrote like the screenplay for or he wrote he came up with fucking Lethal Weapon. He came up with those characters and wrote all that shit. You know, I think anyway. Unless that's I hope that's not based on a book. Because that would be a bummer. I would be completely wrong. I don't think it is. I think he came up with all that shit. All right. Last Action Hero he did, which you know, it's not bad. It's like in the parodic phase of like awesome fucking like early '90s action movies, so it's kind of, you know, it's whatever, you know what I mean? Like I don't hate it, but you know, it's not my fave, you know. Like I'd rather just watch like a real like movie, yeah. Right, not like that's about like similar shit, because like the weird thing about Last Action Hero, here I am talking about Last Action Hero when I should be talking about The Nice Guys. Weird thing about Last Action Hero is like it's like parody, but the action movies it's parodying are so ridiculous that it might as well just be that. It might as well just be a weird ass action movie and like just kind of cut the little kid out and the magic movie ticket and all the like the weird shit and just like fucking go all the way with it, because like it might as well just be, you know, Last Action Hero is just as fucking weird. Right? That's a fucking weird movie, and Shane Black directed that too, or he wrote it. I think he directed it. No, he just wrote it. Right? He didn't start directing anything until like 2005, and like this is pretty much the first movie he's directed that I've actually liked, which is kind of a bummer. Like a little bit like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. A lot of people dig it, but like I'm just kind of whatever with it. It's okay, you know. It's like it's all right. It's like a passable kind of movie, you know. Like Iron Man 3. It's a pretty popular opinion to say that it's terrible, and it is. It's fucking terrible. Shane Black fucked that one up. Fucked that one right up. Directed a TV movie called Edge. I remember fucking seeing that, and then like right after that, he just went into fucking Nice Guys, which is awesome. Nice Guys is like a return to the Shane Black roots, right? It's like fucking. It's like a balls out, crazy ass movie like they used to make, like from before. Like I know it makes me sound like an asshole, but it's true. You know, like movies are different now. Like they're, you know, they don't have the same kind of like sense of fun, and it's weird. Like a weird thing that Shane Black does, right? Is he kind of blends like really extreme violence and like kind of morbid shit with like goony fucking like fuck around scenes, you know? And it's just like, but he can do it like real well, right? At least like screenwriting wise, and in this movie also like as a director, like his goony fuck around stuff and his like super like just fucking like disgusting violence is like it's totally, for some reason he can just he's good at like mixing the two up and just making it fucking like exciting, because fucking like, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about his previous work, and then I'm gonna actually start talking about the fucking movie. I'm sorry. I get all excited about fucking Lethal Weapon because it's one of my faves. Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. He only did the story for Lethal Weapon 2 and the story for Last Boy Scout, but like I don't really know what that means. That could mean a lot of things, you know. That could mean like he wrote, you know, a screenplay for it and then they changed it a lot, you know, like the studios or whatever. But like, okay. His movies, his early movies, even Monster Squad, really, violent as shit, right? And why the fuck was I going with this? Shit. Okay. Well, his previous work is awesome, and then he did some shitty stuff like Iron Man 3. Nice Guys is fucking cool, though. Okay, so what what Nice Guys is it's like 70s ass, like kind of underworld guy, like Russell Crowe, right? He's like running around kicking ass and shit. Like that's like his whole job. He just kicks people's asses for money. He's just fucking like, you know, if somebody's fucking with you or whatever, you just give him money and it'll go like fucking, he'll just go break their arm. You know, he's like one of those guys. And then there's Ryan Gosling, who's like a fucking private detective and he used to be a cop and shit. And like some shit happened and it kind of went wrong. So, you know, they're like just trying to solve this fucking mystery about like porno people like dying and like just weird like kind of fucking conspiracies, like 70s like car company conspiracies and like weird shit going on, you know, and there's like an assassin fucking like running around. It feels very Lethal Weapon. It feels like, you know, there's like, because like every Lethal Weapon movie starts out like this. It's like it starts out small with like some weird shit, you know, and then turns out it's like this vast fucking conspiracy with like a whole bunch of weird people in it, like involved in it, and like crazy like highly skilled assassins and like weird bullshit happening, you know, and it's awesome. It's fucking cool. Oh, I love it. This movie's really good. It's like it definitely captures like just kind of like that sleazy feel that you think of when you think of shit from the 70s. For some reason, like whenever I think of the 70s, I think of just like just fucking like weird sleazy drunken motherfuckers like running around like having sex with underage girls and like fucking like driving big cars and being like real spooky and shit and like smoking all the time, you know. Like I don't know if that's really the way it was. I'm not from the 70s, you know. That's what I always think of. I think of like really intense people just doing like kind of fucking like kind of grubby shit like all the time. And that's what this movie is. Like everybody's just kind of a motherfucker, you know, which I like that, and that's kind of like my conception of the 70s, right? Because like these guys get together, they're fucking assholes, you know? Which is awesome. They start solving this case, right, about like fucking like all these like these people made a porno and like everybody connected with this porno is like dying because of some reason they're being killed, whatever, you know. I don't want to give away the movie. I know it's like been out for like 2 weeks, but not a lot of people are fucking going to see this, and you should. And I don't want to give it away because there are some twists and turns and some cool shit going on. You know what I mean? It's all pretty predictable. It's all like, you know, fucking action movie predictable. There's no like thriller style shit going on here, you know, that's like super intricate. But still, it's gonna bum you out if I tell you everything that you need to know, you know, to get into this. But like the aesthetic of it is fucking badass. Like it's so fucking gross. Everything's just like brown, you know, and like 70s. And fucking like they did some shit like with I guess they like just like CG'd like the city of Los Angeles, right, to make it look like it does in like old fucking like weird pictures from the 70s and shit with like porno theaters and fucking like all the buildings that are gross now are like new. You know? Oh man. And just like weird shit like that. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. Performances, like everybody's performances are fucking on point, right? Particularly Gosling, which that dude is underutilized as a fucking actor. You know what I mean? Like he's in a ton of movies where he hardly has any dialogue and he just kind of stands there like a fucking stick, right? You know, and he's just sexy. Or he's just like, he's like one thing. He's like, because, you know, he came out like he hit the scene as a sexy guy, right? He was like the sexy actor, so like he had to fucking get naked in like every movie, or like, you know, have sexy stuff happening to him. And then like fucking Nicholas Refn, the guy who did like Drive and shit and like all those. You know, like in his movies, like there's just fucking not like a ton of dialogue for Gosling, even though he's like a main character in like a lot of the movies, right? Which is cool, you know. Like I'm not saying it's bad news. Like his movies are awesome, even though I have weird things with his movies. But whatever, that's like another video. I should do like a Refn fucking thing because I do like him as a director, but I always have like a weird time like watching his shit. No, but that doesn't have any bearing on The Nice Guys, and I'm sorry for rambling. Anyway, fucking Gosling is awesome in this though. He's so good. He's got a lot of screen time. And when you give him lines and you give him shit to do in the movie, other than, you know, just kind of like being like a weird maniac in the corner or just being like the sexy guy or whatever who doesn't talk too much, he's fucking awesome. He's a really good actor. So charismatic and he's fucking hilarious. It's this fucking plays this private detective dude who's just like drunk and shit like all the time and smoking constantly. Yeah. And he's just kind of a sleazy asshole, right? Like his whole like business is to like fuck around with like kind of semi-senile old ladies and like take cases from them, you know, because they want them to find like their husband who's already dead or whatever and like actually cremated on the mantelpiece, you know. So he's making all this easy money and shit. And like he's just kind of a motherfucker throughout the entire thing. He does like all this fucking like physical comedy too, which is crazy. It's crazy to see him do that shit. It's awesome though. There's like this part they're like at this fucking swanked out porno like disco party at this fucking like weird like spaceship looking house in the hills. This is an awesome scene, right? And they're trying to find out information, you know, they're just walking around and like fucking like trying to talk to people, like find this girl and shit that they're looking for and like do a whole bunch of shit. And so fucking Gosling's character is like walking around and he's just getting progressively wasted like throughout this whole thing. And you can see like the progression of like, you know, he gets like 2 martinis off a fucking tray that somebody's carrying. And he's just fucking like walking around drinking them. And then he goes to the bar and he's trying to talk to people. And they keep pouring him drinks and shit. And like fucking like eventually he's just like swimming around in a fish tank with like these topless mermaid porno girls. And fucking like there's a point where he just fucking falls off a balcony. Like he's trying to fucking flirt with this girl. And he's just fucking being like super 70s and sleazy about it and shit like that. And he's like, ooh, and he fucking just like takes a fucking header off this fucking thing. And shit just goes crazy after that. Like it just kind of proceeds into like this fucking like gruesomely violent like car chase and shit. And they find a dead body and like a whole ton of like real like nasty bloody shit happens. And there's this big fight. But it's like Lethal Weapon style though. It's like fucking there's a lot of goony shit in Lethal Weapon, and this is like the same thing, except nobody's really, because Lethal Weapon kind of has like a straight man in it. Like it's kind of like when fucking like Mel Gibson's like fucking goony crazy suicidal cop guy, right? And fucking Danny Glover's kind of like, he's just kind of bummed out about everything all the time. Like he's not, you know, he's still like clever and shit and he's got cool dialogue, but like he, you know, he's not like fucking out of his skull, right? And like, so he's kind of the straight man. But this one just kind of like everybody in this fucking movie is like a little goony, and somehow it works because normally you need people to like fucking play off, right? But not this time because like fucking Russell Crowe is awesome in this. They make him look so like fucking like pudgy and shit and like just kind of depressed, you know, but like not like a bummer, you know what I mean? Like, and he's just like this fucking like nasty ass like leg breaker guy, but like he's got this hard on to like help people and like actually be like a fucking like some kind of badass like hero and shit. And he like fucking there's this like flashback sequence where he like foils this like cafe robbery and shit like that, and he's like, I want to help people, awesome, you know, I don't want to just like fucking like beat people's asses for money and shit. And that's like kind of his character arc, that like he starts out as a professional ass beater and then he kind of uses his ass beater skills to like actually be awesome. you know, like throughout, and like, you know, there's character development in this, which is cool. That like it's not like, and there's like everyone has like a kind of a bummer like backstory in it too. Like you know, like they're characters with actual like depth, right? But they do it right. Shane Black fucking does it right in this movie. Like I don't know. The last two James Bond movies are a good example of like people doing it wrong, you know. And like they put all this fucking backstory and exposition into shit, and it doesn't need to be there. Like these characters, they get it. They get their exposition, you know, and it happens gradually over the movie. Like you find out like fucking like weird shit that these people are up to, or like bad shit that happened to them or whatever, and like it actually like you know has bearing on what the fucking characters are doing in the movie and how they perceive things, and like the you know actors portraying them, they fucking like they like realize this, and they're directed to realize this, and they fucking it's obvious that they're pretty excited about you know the screenplay and shit, and like everybody's like really on board, you know, to kind of like just give like more meat to the characters, you know, than just like the performance. So like they're you know like the way they portray shit and like the way they perceive shit is like obviously like it obviously changes throughout the movie, you know, in like a logical way pursuant to like their backstory and like the fucking like relationships that they form like during the movie and shit like that. So it all fucking makes sense, and it's all good. You know what I mean? Everything in this movie is pretty fucking good. It's awesome. It's super sleazy, gross aesthetic. You know, it's about like fucking like porn and assassins, and everybody's fucking intense in the 70s, which is badass. The 70s intense. There's a certain kind of like 70s guy intensity that these people are like fucking like radiating like the entire time. You know, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. When you meet somebody like from the 70s, they have like this fucking like weird fucking sense of humor that's like real kind of mean and shit. You know, and they're all fucking like they're really like fucking people like who were around in that era like tend to be kind of fucking intense like to hang out with. Yeah. It's weird, man, but it's true. And like these guys are fucking doing that straight up. It's awesome. Like they meet like this little kid who's an asshole, and he's trying to fucking make him pay to see his dick and stuff, and they like talk about like because they're asking him about like the porno and shit, and he's like, yeah, I went up to the director and was like, hey, you want to see my dick? You know, and all this stuff. They just keep talking about dicks. They keep talking about like fucking like 14-year-old dicks like for like 10 minutes, and it keeps going on because there's like a fucking fade, and and like fucking Gosling brings up the dick again. When they're like driving through the night, like doing fucking detective shit, and he's just like, God damn it, that guy's dick. You know? He just starts talking about it, man, like he's been thinking about it all day. But like that's like the thread of the, you know, the like the tangent of the plot that like comes back and like leads us back into the story, which is fucking awesome, and it's hilarious, man. So good. He's so good in this movie. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, yeah, what else? There had to have been something I didn't like about this. The voiceover. It starts out with like voiceovers that are completely unnecessary. I don't really know why they're there. Like voiceover is such a weird thing, right? Stylistically, because sometimes it comes out cool, and sometimes it feels like the people who made the movie might think I'm stupid, you know what I mean? And I need shit explained to me like in a voiceover, and they're real hard to do, you know. Stylistically, I think they were going for like a noir thing, you know what I mean? Like they were, because like that's, you know, like film noir, like films is that fucking like voiceover and shit. Like they often get like narrated by like the main character or whatever, but you know, and this god damn it, my phone, man. And this we just don't need it. You know what I mean? Like the voiceover doesn't do anything. The voiceover only feels like it exists because this is a detective movie about like solving crimes and shit, and you need a voiceover. Don't need it though. Like director's cut without the voiceover. I bet the studio made him put it in there for like a little exposition or whatever, because it just doesn't feel good. And like I don't think voiceovers turn up in any of his other movies. Maybe Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I can't really remember that one. I was like, I watched that when I was like real tired or something. It just kind of like washed over me. I should maybe give that another watch, because if it's closer to this, if it's farther from Iron Man 3 and closer to fucking The Nice Guys, then it's gonna be like a far better movie. But yeah, the voiceover was unnecessary. Pacing's great though. Like everything else about it. The editing, he probably didn't have that much to do with that, even though he did direct it too, which is, it's good. No, man, I can't think of anything else bad about it. It's the most fun I've had with a film since probably since Deadpool. Because there aren't that many fun movies out anymore. You know what I mean? They just kind of take you on a ride. And I tend to analyze shit, of course, right? Like education and just kind of the propensity to fucking tear films apart and be an asshole about them. So I go in looking for that shit. But if there's a movie that it's so much fun, and that I don't care about the rest of the shit that might be wrong with it, you know what I mean? And there's nothing dragging me down with it, then that's a fucking good movie. If I can bring myself to fucking enjoy it and get real excited about it and shit, which I am. Obviously, I'm talking all fast, fucking waving my hands around, drinking coffee. It's a good film. But yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. You can it's got enough meat in it to the point where you don't fucking feel brain dead watching the goddamn thing, right? Because there's a little bit of it's a weird mix of shit that goes into a screenplay like this that works really well, and I think it's you gotta have Goonie shit and action and kind of mindless violence and crazy shit going on, right? But you have to have just enough meat in it so your fucking brain has something to fucking grab onto. You know what I mean? So it engages both the analytical side of your brain and the lizard side of your brain that just wants to see tits and people getting shot. You know what I mean? So you got the you got the Apollonian and Dionysian kind of fucking both sides going at it and enjoying this film on different levels, and that's what that is. That's what shit like this should be, right? That makes sense? I hope so. Okay, so Russell Crowe's good. Fucking everybody in this movie is pretty fucking good. Kim Basinger's in it. Weirdly, right? Weirdly enough, she's not in it for long, but she's awesome. Actually, she's a little... No, she's awesome. She's got one scene where she's awesome, right? They go meet her in this office, and it's real fucking uncomfortable, and everybody's being spooky. It's 70s. So that's good. But then, at the end of the movie, she has this kind of expository dialogue, and it doesn't quite work out too well. That's maybe 2 minutes of the movie that they could have cut, because it kind of ties shit together that doesn't quite need to be explained at the end, if that makes sense. Because they figured out the mystery, and they fucking they solved the shit, and it's fucking movie over. But there's this little part with her that just doesn't quite match, but it doesn't fucking kill anything. It's that and the voiceover, or it's just kind of the odd fucking bits of this movie that almost feel the producers probably made him put that in because people just consider film going audiences, particularly American film going audiences, dumb, right? I don't know why. But yeah, other than that, fucking go check this out. I wanted to get popular. I wanted it to be awesome. I want Ryan Gosling to have more, to be in more movies where he has fucking dialogue because he's awesome. Oh man, yeah. Shit. And I want Shane Black to make shit again, like make good shit, you know, make like not Iron Man 3 stuff. I want a Monster Squad sequel where they're all 30. That would be badass. Yeah. Yeah, man. Anyway, fucking done. I'm out. I'm sorry. This took like 25 minutes. Okay. Bye.